again. My name is Erica Wakas. I'm a sophomore at Grand Rapids City High School and the president of the Mayor's Youth Council. I would like to welcome all our elected and appointed officials, our leaders in education in our community, parents, teachers, and counselors, after-school providers, mentors, students, and all invited guests to Kidspeak 2012, Above the Influence. In the next hour and a half, you will hear a variety of opinions from young people that are eager to let their voices be heard. We have over 20 students that have been preparing to come before you today. Kidspeak is an annual forum created by Michigan's children and facilitated throughout the state of Michigan. But in Grand Rapids, this forum is facilitated by the Mayor's Youth Council every year. We typically hold this forum at City Hall across the street so young people know where City Hall is and get comfortable with speaking to city officials. This annual forum gives kindergartners through 12th graders the opportunity to give testimony and to help shape and influence public policy on issues affecting young people. A listening panel comprised of elected and appointed officials, as well as leaders in education, government, and nonprofit and business, have been assembled before us. This listening panel will hear from young people about staying above the influence of alcohol, drugs, and other destructive decisions. Staying clean or decreasing the use of alcohol and drugs is one of the many indicators of success in Grand Rapids stated today in the Youth Master Plan. This Youth Master Plan was developed by young people and community members to help children succeed in college, work, and life. This year's Mayor's Youth Council decided that Above the Influence was an excellent topic for Kidspeak this year. Drugs and alcohol impact youth in many different ways. According to Talk Sooner statistics, 1 in 10 youth have drunk alcohol in the past 30 days, and the same goes for smoking marijuana. The Michigan Profile for Healthy Youth reports that 6.5% of high school students used a prescription drug, and 7.3% indicated using a prescription painkiller without doctor's orders. In my opinion, teenagers tend to be risk takers and get great thrill from doing something that is not necessarily legal. In the driver's ed videos they show us in school, they always say that teens think they're invincible and can survive anything. This is really true. We feel as we can do anything without a consequence. Since we are young, we have a greater chance of getting in car accidents or having drug and alcohol do damage to our bodies. The Michigan Profile for Healthy Youth also reports that 1 in 4 youth have driven with someone who has been drinking in the past 30 days. And let's face it, we have too many parents who drink too much or abuse other substances. They need help too. This is why we are here today. We want to raise the voices of teens in our community to help others understand the impact that alcohol and drugs can have on their lives, and to help inform elected officials about possible solutions. The more the leaders in our community know and understand, the more they can do to help prevent the use of drugs and alcohol. As I mentioned earlier, I am the president of the Mayor's Youth Council, which is a group of 15 high school students that live in the city of Grand Rapids, Michigan. As council members, we meet with the mayor monthly to discuss issues facing our youth today. We also learn about our community and the role city government plays in our lives. The Mayor's Youth Council is a program managed by Our Community's Children, which is a public-private partnership between the city of Grand Rapids, the Grand Rapids Public Schools, and community partners. One of our partners this year is the Kent County Prevention Coalition, which promotes healthier communities by preventing and reducing harmful substance use behavior in Kent County. Members of the Mayor's Youth Council, through events like Kidspeak, have the opportunity to sharpen and utilize their leadership skills. This is my second year on the Mayor's Youth Council, and it has been a great experience for me. I have learned how to facilitate meetings and speak with confidence to the mayor and city commissioners on behalf of other teens. I have learned how to influence and advocate for teens' experience. The Mayor's Youth Council actively engages over 300 youth per year, and this year, because of our partnership with the Kent County Prevention Coalition, will exceed that number.
Hi, my name is James Sloan. I'm a junior at Ottawa Hills High School, and I'm a member of the Grand Rapids Mayor's Youth Council. One of our subcommittees on the Mayor's Youth Council is the Kidspeak subcommittee. This year, we were privileged to work with the Above the Influence Youth Coalition. On the Youth Coalition, we discussed issues that are affecting youth culture, such as illegal drugs and underage drinking. I must say that I valued working with other students from across the county, and I have learned so much. It's been a great experience. Now, we would like to take a minute to acknowledge Michigan's children, our community's children, Network 180, and the Kent County Prevention Coalition for their guidance, partnership, and support. We would also like to thank the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, the City of Grand Rapids, and the Grand Rapids Public Schools for their support as well. Mayor Hartwell is a champion for youth in the city. Please welcome our mayor, the Honorable George K. Hartwell, as he gives some opening remarks and introduces the Kidspeak listening panel.
Thank you. Thank you, Erica and James. And wow, look at you. This is amazing. You're awesome. You are beautiful. Look at this audience today. I want the members of the Mayor's Youth Council who are here today and who've helped in organizing this to please stand up so you can give them your applause. Mayor's Youth Council. Thank you. For others of you in the audience maybe hearing about the Mayor's Youth Council for the first time today, it gets reorganized every year, so there's an opportunity for new members to come into the Mayor's Youth Council. As Erica said, it's a year-long experience in inside, up close in city government, a chance to visit with not only the mayor on a regular basis, but city commissioners, and then travel to Lansing and meet with our state representatives, many of whom are and our senators who are here with us today. So think about it. It's a great opportunity when the application's open. Put your application in and join the Mayor's Youth Council. This Kidspeak opportunity as part of this conference today is a great chance for us to listen to you, something that we do far too little of. And so thank you for all of you who will be speaking today for having the courage and the insight that you're going to give us today. I would like to do this by way of introducing this panel who's here. Rather than my shouting out all their names, I'm going to pass the microphone around. It's going to go down this way, starting with school board president, work its way back up around the row, and end up with Jack Kresnak, who's going to be the next speaker. So please hold your applause until everybody has been introduced, and I'll start with Sunita Lanier.
Sunita Lanier, Grand Rapids Board of Education.
Good morning, Dave Hildenbrand, State Senator. I look forward to your remarks this morning. Thanks for having me.
Hello again, Ben Tucker. I also look forward to hearing from you this morning.
Good morning, I'm Jordan Bush. I'm the District Director for Congressman Justin Amash, representing Michigan's 3rd District.
Good morning, Larry Scott, State of Michigan Bureau of Substance Abuse and Addiction Services, Michigan Department of Community Health.
Kevin Bauk, Police Chief for the City of Grand Rapids.
Lynn Heemstra, Executive Director of our community's children.
Mark Jansen, State Senator from kind of the suburbs of Kent County.
Larry Johnson, Assistant Superintendent and the Executive Director of Public Safety School Security for the Grand Rapids Public Schools.
I'm Ruth Kelly, and I represent the 2nd Ward in the great city of Grand Rapids.
I'm Maureen Slade, and I'm on the Grand Rapids Public School Board of Education.
Good morning again. Aya Collins from the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, Above the Influence campaign.
Good morning. I am so lucky to sit between these two lovely ladies. I'm Walt Gutowski, owner of Swift Printing and Communications, and your 1st Ward City Commissioner.
Wendy Faub, Grand Rapids Public School Board. A real privilege to be here this morning.
Roger McClary. I'm a member of the Board of Library Commissioners for the City of Grand Rapids.
Hi, I'm Sue Toms. I'm a reporter with the Grand Rapids Press and MLive Media Group.
I'm Ken Yonker, State Representative for the 72nd District, which is the city of Kentwood. No one here. And Gaines Township, Caledonia Township, and Cascade.
Hi, my name is Jane Geets, and I'm on the Grand Rapids Public School Board and also a proud mom of 2 teens in Grand Rapids Public Schools.
Hello, I'm Greg Sundstrom, the city manager for this incredibly gorgeous city that's only made better by all of you being here today. So welcome to GR.
That was very nice. I am Carol Hennessy, and I live in the city of Grand Rapids, and I represent city residents to the Kent County Board of Commissioners.
Good morning. I'm Elias Lumpkins. I'm one of the 3rd Ward Commissioners for the city of Grand Rapids, proud graduate of South High School, Grand Rapids Community College, Michigan State University, and Wayne State University.
It's a hard act to follow. I'm Brandon Dillon, State Representative from the city of Grand Rapids.
Thanks, everyone on the listening panel. This is fantastic. I'm Jack Kresnak. I'm president of Michigan's Children, which is an independent advocacy organization based in Lansing, but we work all across the state. We work with policymakers and business and community leaders to make public policies that actually help children succeed. And when we created the Kidspeak forums a little more than 10 years ago, I don't think we ever dreamed that we'd have such a large group listening of young people who are engaged in what's going on in their communities. So I want to thank you, and I want to thank the people, the kids that are going to be speaking shortly, because you all are the experts of what is going on in the streets and in the homes of neighborhoods of the city of Grand Rapids and elsewhere. As far as substance abuse and alcohol abuse, I think the policymakers need to hear from the experts like you. And this is just a wonderful forum, and thank you for organizing this, Lynn Heemstra and Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kresnik. Now I would like to introduce you to Lynn Heemstra, Executive Director of Our Community's Children, a public-private partnership between the City of Grand Rapids, the Grand Rapids Public Schools, and community partners.
Thank you very much, James. Is this on? Is this on? Oh, now it is. Thank you very much. Thanks to the listening panel. I really appreciate you being here. And to the counselors, teachers, parents who are involved in the lives of all the youth here, and especially to all of the young people here. This is about how you all can have a voice in what goes on in our community. Our community's children exist to build better futures for the youth, and we do that by providing opportunities for you to have a say in what goes on. We normally do this at City Hall, and if you don't know where City Hall is or what it's all about, Jonasia Lipskin is here. She is a senior at Union High School, and she is actually working at the customer service desk at City Hall. So if you don't know about City Hall, please ask Jonasia. She's right here in the front, and she'll tell you all about what City Hall does. What we want you to know, young people, is that you have a say. You can be the change for what goes on in your life. You may not be able to vote yet, and we want you to register to vote when you're 18, but you can influence what goes on. All of the people up here make decisions about you every day, every week. So if you are in fact interested in the city offering recreation programs or after-school programs, you should be talking to the mayor and the city commissioners about that. If you think your school needs more funding, or you would like to see some policy changes, you should talk to the Board of Education and state legislators about what goes on in your school. This is an opportunity, and we do this every year. The Mayor's Youth Council organizes this every year for you to have a say. So we really encourage you to get involved, be active, and give back to your community. Make a difference. So we're eager to hear from you now, and I'm going to turn it back over to James and Erica. Thank you.
I don't have time to smoke weed. Ever since I started high school, I've been exposed to weed and various other illegal substances. My peers and friends would leave school for hours upon end to go into the woods and smoke weed. It was sad to me watching them throw away their futures, thinking that they were cool, when in truth, their skin was breaking out, their lips were changing colors, and they perpetually smelled awful. Not a good look, not cute at all. I look at them and their attempts to keep up with everyone else, and I can't even fathom the level of self-imposed stress that they put on being cool. Choices affect our present and our future. And then there's me. Yeah, sometimes I get teased for the choices I make, choosing not to smoke weed, but ultimately, I feel that I'm choosing a better life. I choose to be actively involved in my church, my academics, and my leadership activities. My time is so valuable that I can't waste a second on things that would take me away from my goals in life. I want to be successful, and I want to be happy, so that means it's really necessary for me to make my future a priority. I don't see drugs as a priority, so I don't use them. It's important for us to have many different things that we're passionate about, and it's up to us to not only be positive role models, but to surround ourselves with positive people. Wouldn't you agree? To all the adults in the room who are listening to my voice, you are our role models. It's important for you to carry yourselves with the knowledge that you're the source from which we get our values. You can help us to stay above the influence. You can help your own children and children you come in contact with on a daily basis. That could mean doing something as simple as saying hi to a teenager as they wait for the bus. Now, they'll probably look at you like you're crazy, but you'll never know the impact that you would have made. In preparing for today's event, we have asked ourselves and other youth questions such as, number 1, share how parents, caring adults, peers, programs, or community activities help or hinder you in staying above the influence of illegal or destructive activities. Number 2, do you know where to go in your community if you need help staying above the influence? If yes, tell us about it. If no, why do you think this is so? Number 3, has it been challenging for you or someone you know to live above the influence? Share how that has affected you or the person you know and offer solutions to the problem. Number 4, suggest or illustrate innovative ideas that could significantly decrease access to our abuse of alcohol, marijuana, prescription medication, and other drugs that are available to young people. Is it easy? Number 5, is it easy for you to live above the influence? Why or why not? How can adults and elected officials help? Number 6, do you feel local minor and possession laws are equally enforced among all young people who live in Kent County? Why or why not? And number 7, what media messaging do you see in your neighborhood and community regarding drugs and alcohol? How does this impact your life? The answers to these questions and today's proceedings are being taped by GRCC and will be aired on channels 26, 27, and 28, and on the KCPC website. And now, what we've all been waiting for. First, we have Cheyenne Doss. She's a junior at Kelloggsville High School.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I have a cold. When first presented the opportunity to speak about this specific subject, I will be honest, I was reluctant. The subject chosen for this year's Kidspeak 2012 was a touchy one for teens especially. As teens, we live in a world that is not very accepting of anything that is not normal. Normal being what everyone else is doing. What we as teens need to realize is that who says doing harmful things is the cool thing to do? Staying above the influence, as we all know, is the right thing to do, but not always the most attractive. The perception given off, which often becomes our reality as teens, is that teens may feel that you are trying to be something that you are not. By doing so, you bring attention to yourself. No one wants to stand out and be different for the fear of being judged. Teens have it twice as hard. They do not want to be judged by their peers, nor be a disappointment to the adults in their lives who have impacted them greatly, such as parents, teachers, mentors, etc. By avoiding the subject completely, we provide a safe haven for ourselves and avoid both parties. By creating ways for teens to be more comfortable and making it cool to stay above the influence, teens may be able to start a new trend and make it easier for the next generation. Because who said that you have to do harmful things to be in the in crowd? Let's create a new crowd, a crowd that is full of teens that play hard but also work harder. Let's create a new trend, a trend that doesn't involve putting ourselves in harm's way. Let's learn to live above the influence. Thank you.
Next, we have Kathy Allen, who is a freshman at Whitehall High School.
Hi, my name is Kathy. I am 14 and I go to Whitehall High School. I have also gone to several other schools in Michigan, North Carolina, and Virginia. In all of those places, I have met many different people coming from many different backgrounds. But I have also learned that many of us face similar problems and worry about some of the same things. The truth is, regardless of where we live, kids my age have a lot to live up to, a lot of expectations pulling them in different directions. We worry about things like our family and friends, relationships and money, school, clothes, sports, and our futures. We can all get sensitive about ourselves and what people might think about us. Maybe that's why some of us have trouble staying above the influence and keeping ourselves focused. We don't always know what is most important or what our priorities should be. I think I have been lucky. I've had a lot of people in my life who have supported and encouraged me and helped me make good choices. For example, but I know that not everyone has someone else looking out for them the way I have. For example, just a couple weeks ago, I had to call the police on a friend who wanted to kill himself over a girl. That girl was me. But his parents are divorced, and his dad is an alcoholic, so he doesn't have anyone at home to help him deal with things like relationships. Another friend of mine hardly ever goes to school anymore because of problems at home and the drinking her parents do. We used to be really close, but now we barely talk. Neither of these friends are involved in any activities, and I worry about both of them and what might happen. I think it is hard for them to stay above the influence because they don't think anybody cares, and that is what they need: a parent, a teacher, a counselor, or a coach, or an advisor. I stay above the influence because I have so many people I can count on, and I think if my friends or other kids like them had people they could trust and reach out to, maybe, and they could talk to, maybe they could stay above the influence too.
Next, we have Karaya and Kasira Muhammad Smith, who attend East Kentwood High School.
Good morning. Community-based youth organizations that focus on leadership skills and behaviors help children and teens develop behaviors to live above the influence of negative choices and for their lifetimes.
We know this is true. I've spent 13 years practicing good decision-making as part of such an organization, and my sister has 11 years from the same organization. This means together we stand before you with 25 years of experience practicing good decision-making, problem-solving, and learning how to lead others and ourselves. Don't you think it would be in our local, regional, national, and global well-being if legislators, community leaders, and school officials support opportunities that give children at least multiple years of leadership and decision-making practice as part of our school-age lives? We are not suggesting that the school does all this work themselves, but our parents do send us to school because they can't do it all either. It takes a village and connections between adults, home, school, and in the community. Our personal involves our parents, our schools, and our participation in Girl Scouts, a community-based organization.
As Girl Scouts, we have opportunities to learn about ourselves and others. We have opportunities to practice good behaviors at home, at school, and in various communities. However, as we moved from kindergarten and middle school, we saw girls, adults, school administrators, and community advocates become less interested in the work of Girl Scouts. And by the time we reached high school, there were no consistent connections between schools and community organizations.
The assertion that middle and high school students are too busy for organizations that focus on leadership is a myth. Who needs more direct contact with opportunities to demonstrate the ability to lead oneself and to lead with others? A kindergartner, a 7th grader, or a high school student? To choose which students should have consistent access to community-based leadership programs is part of the reason we are talking to you today and about what role you can play to help us learn to make positive life choices. The truth is that you have a lot of us for several hours of the day in school, in formal and informal education settings. How about we treat the middle and high school day like we do the elementary day? You know, when adults thought it was a good idea to invite Boy and Girl Scout organizations to meet in the school building. When inviting community organizations into the school day was a way to help children begin to know that they were part of a larger community. Okay, so maybe no high school 11th grader will attend a Girl Scout meeting at her school, but maybe she'll decide to be an assistant leader for younger girls instead. The problem is that she may never know about that opportunity because her school has left all of those community-like connections back in elementary school. We do not mean to mislead you into believing that we have always been proud to be Girl Scouts. We do not go to school wearing Girl Scout uniforms, and we do not broadcast our Girl Scout status to our friends. But we do draw on many lessons that we have learned about inclusiveness, and empathy, and problem solving, as well as countless other positive behaviors nearly every day of our high school careers. With 25 years of leadership experience, we find it kind of hard to let ourselves and our community down. However, when we do let ourselves and others down, we fall on stronger foundations and land with more ability to take account of our actions and move on. Thank you.
Next, we have Kim Trumbull, who is a senior at Kellogg'sville High School.
Hello everyone, my name is Kim Trumbull. I'm here to share my personal testimony today about the road less traveled and the road that we should probably avoid for our future generations. I was born Kimberly Sue Trumbull to two happy parents, unexpected but happy nonetheless. In 1995, they were 19 and 23 roughly, and they were abusers and users, and they were not ready to put down pot to take care of me. This led to semi-abusive nature and a less than desirable home environment, but I was far too young to know that at the time. Fast forward 13 years, I was a freshman. I had skipped a grade and I was proud of myself, and I was doing good in my life. But unfortunately, I fell into the wrong crowd and I went to a party over spring break. It had a funny smell in the air and I wasn't quite sure, but a lot of memories came flooding back to me that I didn't even know I had. Later, I had found out that smell was pot, and I ran out of the house and I cried because I didn't know my parents could hurt me in such a way. I was too scared to bring it up to them. Another year and a half went by. I was 15 years old and a junior in high school. I did pot for the first time, and the feeling, it felt cool. I felt like I was a part of the in crowd. Right? But I was wrong. I had become my parents, and I was going to hurt those around me. But I couldn't stop. I spiraled down, and I did it more and more. I was lying to everyone around me. I was guilty, and my grades were suffering. The addiction carried into my senior year. When my dad left, I shared my addiction with my mother. We would sit on our bed, and we would smoke, and we would cry. Everything in the world told me it was wrong, but if my mom was doing it, it must have been okay for me to do it too. It wasn't. I needed help and better influences in my life. As of right now, I'm about 2.5 months clean because I found help in a better group of friends, a mental hospital/rehabilitation center, and my school counselor. I feel better that I'm not dependent on a substance anymore. My grades are better, and it affects the relationships around me in a positive way. But I feel like this could have all been avoided if I had better knowledge, better influences, and better preventative behavior. I think this seminar is on the right track to doing such things. Thank you all for listening to my story. Have a nice day.
Next, we have Derica Booker, who is a 7th grader at Gerald R. Ford Middle.
Hello, my name is Derica Booker, and I attend Gerald R. Ford Middle School, and I'm here to talk to you about staying above the influence. One way I stay above the influence is by not being around the type of people that are under the influence. I also try to stay above the influence by not choosing drugs over materials that are not going to help me succeed in my education and the dreams that I want to conquer. I have watched people from around my community break down from doing drugs. I think that the people who are under the influence are not intelligent and they do not understand the real world or how the real world works. When I am with or around people who do drugs, I walk away. If you stay around that type of atmosphere, it's more likely for you to be influenced by it. How I stay above the influence is by staying active and not worrying about what other people say. I don't let other people persuade me to do things if I'm not sure it's right. Thank you for listening.
Next, we have Juan Gonzalez, who is a senior at Union High School.
Good morning. Hello, my name is Juan Gonzalez, and I am a senior at Union High School. I have been above the influence of alcohol and drugs for 18 years. In other words, I have never even tried alcohol or drugs. I am above the influence, and I plan on staying this way. Most kids my age couldn't say that, though, and this is an eminent problem in today's society. It leads to minors in possession, drunk driving incidents, and alcohol addictions. I've talked with a few of my friends, and they have told me why they do or don't do drugs. One person said, if alcohol was that bad for you, it should be illegal for adults too. The same person also commented that the fact that it's illegal makes it that much more appealing to do. It's like when parents tell their kids to not touch wet paint, but they still touch it. That person also compared alcohol to cigarettes. They don't smoke cigarettes, but they can because they're 18. It seems for teenagers that telling them not to do something encourages them to do it. After all, the very people who tell teenagers not to drink or smoke have done or are doing the same thing. Teenagers are curious by nature, and the fact that they aren't supposed to drink, coupled with that hypocrisy, makes them want to do it. Personally, I think there is no easy solution to this problem. Teenagers always find a way to get what they want, like alcohol and drugs. They know a person or someone manages to get it for them. Frankly, it'd be impossible unless it didn't exist in the United States. Idealistically, if alcohol and drugs were illegal for everyone, adults and teenagers both, and banned from the US, this wouldn't be a problem. Yet, that's been tried before during the Prohibition, and people still manage to get a hold of alcohol through smuggling. This is very similar to how teenagers manage to access alcohol. To make a difference, people will have to work at it and work hard for it. This summit is just the beginning. Thank you for your time.
Next, we have Talia Cruz, who is a junior at Holland High School.
Hello, I'm Talia Cruz. I'm a junior at Holland High School. And at this point in time, kids of all ages do not know what to do if they are under the influence or need help to stay above the influence. If they just look around them, there's organizations such as Students Against Destructive Decisions and Student Leaders Initiating Change that have helped me understand what happens when kids are under the influence. Some die, get injured, or hurt others surrounding them. I seek change, which is why I'm in these organizations and which is why I'm presenting this testimony before you today. I participated in the Raise Your Voice training through Student Leaders Initiating Change, which prepared me to teach 6th graders the peer refusal skills. During the training, we had to do an activity, make 12 cards in 3 rows of 4. One row has 4 people who mean the most to you, another was your 4 most prized possessions, and then the last row was your 4 favorite hobbies. Once written down, you flip them over so they are not showing. The supervisors tell you to shuffle the cards, then throw one out, not being aware of what was thrown away. Then they take some away, and a friend next to you takes them away. I didn't know what was taken from me till the last card. This was a tragic experience, even if it was just an activity. I lost all my friends and family and only had my flute. It was supposed to show that if involved in destructive decisions, anyone can take these things away from you, even yourself, and you will never know till you actually open your eyes to see what is missing. Just the thought of losing everything and everyone was terrible. Being involved can help people understand the risks of being under the influence. If someone is under the influence, it isn't the end of the world. They can change their path. It's never too late. I've heard speakers who are successful today because they changed to live a better life. These speakers were under the influence at one point in their life, but realized what was important, and they wanted a successful life. Speakers like the ones I've heard can serve as an inspirational example to others. Peer pressure. If friends don't respect the decision to stay away from destructive decisions, then youth just have to face the fact that they shouldn't be hanging out with them. Bad influences can put teens at risk and take their lives away. There's the opportunity in which youth can provide an alternative to destructive decisions and invite them so they save them as well. This is a peer refusal skill I've learned. If that doesn't work, there's not much teens can do at that point. If youth want to have a good future, they have to think hard and critically about decisions, understand the consequences, and find a solution that will satisfy them. They have to be proactive because it is all up to them. I know I want a successful future for sure, which is exactly why it is easy for me to stay above the influence. First of all, my friends and family respect my decisions. In fact, they don't even pressure me. I also know the risks of being under the influence. My friends and family and peers mean the most to me, and I never want to put them at risk. If someone were to get hurt because of me and the bad decisions I've made, I would never be able to forgive myself. And I am young. I want to live my life, and I want to live a long and healthy life. I promise myself that I will stay above the influence and that I will continue to make that promise and never break it. Thank you.
Next, we have Gabrielle Kelly, who's an 8th grader at Ridge Park Charter Academy.
Hi, my name is Gabrielle Kelly, and this is my Living Above the Influence. People always ask, why do people use drugs or binge drink? I say, why do you love chocolate or gummy bears? More and more people are addicted to drugs and alcohol. People use alcohol mainly because of stress and advertising. Companies like Budweiser or Natural Ice use more than $2 billion on advertising. The companies aim for people who are stressed and have low income. They lower prices, so it seems like you're making the better choice. Therefore, you think you're more relaxed. Binge drinking gives you lots of symptoms like blackouts, dizziness, and even death. We can help by giving people a better choice or sober versions of drinks and advertise those. Drugs are very addictive. Drugs can rewire your brain to make you think that you need it. The most popular one is tobacco. We can stop people from using tobacco by stopping it at the source, tobacco plants. We can make a big difference if we stop buying it or show people the truth about it. I know we can't stop it, but we can have fewer people use it. Now, peer pressure is a big deal when it comes to drugs. Everybody knows that kids want friends, so they do anything to have popularity or friends. To help kids like this, we should start in-school social programs and have kids interact with one another. That said, we could all help, but we need to step up in our school programs and make a big difference. People should never have to go through drugs and alcohol. Thank you.
Next, we have Alicia Ross, who is a 12th grader at Creston High School.
Hello, my name is Alicia Ross. I'm a senior at Creston High School, and I'm a lead participant. I would like to start off by saying that we have to set so many examples for others. We have to live up to very high expectations because of what history teens give us. I started saying no to drugs and alcohol. We need to be powerful, motivated, and committed. The path you take involves being drug and alcohol free. It's true that we're all grown up, but the choices we choose to make determine our maturity level. We sometimes are pressured by our peers. Although we are old enough to know right from wrong, there are so many things ahead of us, but only we can shape our future. We have to stay above the influence. Staying above the influence means to get involved in the community and school projects. You may be in the wrong place at the wrong time. You may also be in many positions where someone will ask you to do something that may be negative. Just say no. I never let others determine me, and you shouldn't either. You may have to change your friends. You may have to change yourself. But all in all, these choices will change your life. I'm looking forward to graduating and attending college this year. Our goals and aspirations are important, and that is why it is critical to stay above the influence. The older we are, the wiser we become, and each one of us has so much to live for. We have to start planning now so that we can have a better future later. We all need to help one another do the right thing. Remember, stay above the influence and plan ahead because we are all destined to see great things. Thank you.
Next up, we have Michael Hambrick, a member of the Mayor's Youth Council and a freshman at Union High School.
Well, again, I'm Michael Hambrick. I'm a member of the Mayor's Youth Council above the influence Kent County and the Grand Rapids Young Marines. I grew up around some pretty bad influences in school, growing up in Grand Rapids all my life. I've been constantly pressured into trying drugs and alcohol, and I really am not into them anymore. I used to be pressured into them, but a couple years ago I realized that it's not what I need. And by joining these programs and organizations, I've learned how these drugs and alcohol will affect my life and how they'll weigh me down from what I can become. I have my whole life ahead of me, and I want to be the best I can be. I hope to soon become someday in an elected office and help the community and youth to have better lives and healthier lives and help build a better community. Today, I join the fight against drugs and alcohol, and I will continue. Thank you.
Next up, we have Taylor Fisher Harris, a sophomore at Ottawa Hills High School.
Hello, I am Taylor Fisher Harris. I am a freshman at Ottawa Hills High School, and I'm 15 years old. There are a lot of things that keep me above the influence. First, we can start with my childhood. I was around a lot of people who were under the influence and around a lot of people who had a lot of friends with people under the influence. My family members in my family, I have a lot that have been up under the influence, and they really did make me change my life. I thought when I got in high school, I was going to be around friends, and I thought it was going to be cool to do drugs, but after seeing all that through my childhood life, I don't think I'm ever going to try it. I do a lot of activities to try to stay above the influence. I am an academic upgrade. I do a lot of stuff inside school and outside of school. I attend the loft program at school to keep me out of the streets. I do a lot of extra stuff at church. I'm the choir director. And I just think about all the consequences that my family had when they did it, so I don't think I want to do the same thing. That's why I say all teenagers, all people should just stay above the influence. Thank you.
Next, we have Jalen Woods, a junior at Central High.
Good morning. Okay, first of all, I would like to say I'm speaking to you, but I would also like to speak personally to the young adults behind me, because I know as a young adult today, staying above the influence is extremely hard. Every day we face, and myself, challenges of doing drugs, drinking, and ultimately being under the influence. As an individual, I try to keep away. Staying after school, such as the loft program, occupies me from being under the influence. Staying above the influence is not always easy, and staying under the influence is not hard. Peer pressure is a huge factor on trying to stay above the influence. 9 times out of 10, your own friends will try to pressure you into being under the influence. And you may sometimes feel that you want to be cool or hang out, but it's not the way to be. You might You may feel that you want to fit in or not be left out, so you take drugs, or you might pick up that drink, or sometimes even pop that pill. If your friends pressure you into doing drugs, those aren't your real friends, and you may want to reconsider and find new ones. If you don't want to choose new friends, convince your friends that being under the influence is not the way to go. One simple word that you've learned over 10 years can keep you above the influence. Saying no can keep you above the influence. If someone asks you to take drugs, say no. No is a little word with a big impact. It can take you from being under the influence into being above the influence in no time. Saying no is probably one of the best things that could ever happen to you and me. If you are the type of person that likes to be under the influence, you will get nowhere, I repeat, nowhere in life. Doing drugs is not cute or cool.
Being under the influence could mess up your future. You can't go to school or have a job if being under the influence is your lifestyle. As myself, education and employment are two major keys that you need to unlock doors to success. So why chance it by being under the influence? Being above the influence can open so many doors. Don't gamble your future with a couple of nights of fun. Like me, you can join after-school programs such as law to help you. There will always be people surrounding you that will. Being above the influence will ensure a sure life. Thank you.
Next, we have Andrea Koistra, a member of the Mayor's Youth Council and a sophomore at City High.
Hi, my name is Andrea Koistra, and as she said, I'm a sophomore at City High School, and I'm also part of the Mayor's Youth Council. I'm going to share with you what influenced my decision to stay above the influence of illegal drugs and alcohol. From a very young age, my parents taught me that alcoholic drinks were for adults only. They would keep their wine hidden in a high cupboard and warn me against opening it or I would get in trouble. They encouraged me to do my best in school and not to get involved with drugs or alcohol because it would mess up my future. In health class last year with Mr. Drosky over there, we were taught about how alcohol and drugs affect the brain and can cause permanent damage. We watched a series of videos that showed a high school student taking drugs and how it messed up his schoolwork, social life, and family relationships. In driver's ed, we learned how alcohol affects your judgment and causes you to be a danger to the people in your vehicle and to other drivers around you. All of these examples helped me make my decision to stay away from illegal drugs and not to drink alcohol until I'm 21. Thank you.
Next, we have Kaylin Fudge, a 7th grader at Gerald R. Ford Middle School.
How I stay above the influence and stay away from drugs, alcohol, and poor decision makings is by not hanging around friends who get into things that cause young people to fail. I refuse to hang around people who smoke and drink. These are unhealthy choices that could have fatal outcomes. The reason I'm above the influence is because I have plans for a bright future. I choose to keep myself positive. I go home on time so I won't get into any situations that I can't get out of. I stay in school and I work hard and maintain good grades. That's how I stay above the influence.
Next, we have Jamia Joseph, a 7th grader at Gerald R. Ford Middle School.
Hello, my name is Jamia Joseph, and I'm a 7th grader at Gerald R. Ford Middle School. I'm going to tell you how I stay above the influence. I stay above the influence by hanging with the right people. When I hang around the wrong people, they encourage me to do things that are wrong. They try to persuade me to do things that are bad for my health and for my education. I have come to the conclusion that if I stay above the influence, going to college is a possibility. The way I stay away from alcohol, drugs, and other bad choices I could be making is by choosing to do the right thing and not follow the crowd. Following the crowd won't get me anywhere. People with low self-esteem or a lack of confidence are more likely to do drugs and alcohol. So I surround myself with positive people and positive things. This helps me to maintain a positive image of myself. I will also stay above the influence by being successful in school, being respectful to teachers, staff, and fellow students. Finally, I stay above the influence so I can be looked up to as a leader and be known for doing the right thing. Thank you.
Next, we have Akila Fields, a member of the Mayor's Youth Council and a junior at West Michigan Academy.
Good morning. My name is Akila Fields, member of the Mayor's Youth Council. I chose to write my testimony today as a poem. This piece is fiction, but I feel like it explains and touches many of my teen peers that experience substance abuse. Just a few more hits and the dark room became lit. It started to make me feel good, but just then I allowed my mind to become addicted to it. I'm confused and the stress has all gone away. All my memories became blurry, but the feeling was here to stay. By the time the joint came back around, I felt like I had been lifted high up off the ground. Nothing feel right, it's not the same. When things go wrong, it's you to blame. I wish you were here. I wish I could see you. Vodka to make me happy, weed to get me high, NyQuil to sleep. Everyday schedule would become like a CD where I could just click repeat. I would relive that night thinking the drug made me strong. I knew I was wrong. I felt free and alive, but in the inside, that's all I did was cry. Just a few more hits and the dark room became lit. It started to make me feel dizzy, but the last hit was the end. The drug didn't take over me, my mind did. I live above the influence not only for you, but for me. My name's Akila, and I choose to live drug-free. Every day I rise above it.
Next, we have Brashia White, a ninth grader at Ottawa Hills High School.
Hi, my name is Brashia White. I attend Ottawa Hills. I'm here to share my testimony. I'm going to give a little background, too. I went to Ridge Park from 6th through 8th grade, and I graduated from there. I started a homies program there to kids, that our youth that goes through situations on an everyday basis, and we go in there, we eat our lunch, and we talk about things that we go through. And some kids come in there and share to me about what they go through and how they live above the influence all the time. And now I attend Ottawa Hills as a freshman. I'm a leader at the school, and I got another program that I start there. It's called Keep It Moving. We come in there every Monday from 2:15 to 3:15. We talk about anything that bothers anybody. We come in there and talk about it and figure out how we can fix it and make it better to show kids that we can live above the influence. We don't have to smoke weed or drink and party and be negative just to be in the crowd, because that's not what the world is about. It's about being positive and being successful and being a leader. So by me going to Ottawa Hills, I started a program, and I show kids to be above the influence. And I'm a freshman, and it's a big step for me. So if I can get you guys support on everything about the program so I can keep having our youth be a part of this program, such as myself, because I know I'm a youth too. So anything they come in and tell me, I take it to heat too. So I could be like, okay, I know don't do that because they did that, and I see how far they've been. So that's my testimony.
Next we have Mackenzie King, a 7th grader from Ridge Park.
Good morning. My name is Mackenzie King. I am a 7th grader at Ridge Park Charter Academy here in Grand Rapids. Adolescents and teenagers are influenced by peers, adults in their lives, and movie stars or other public figures. These can be positive role models if they are making the right decisions in their own lives. However, young people are challenged with difficult decisions every day. For example, we feel pressure from our peers to do something that we don't want to do, such as stealing, lying, and doing drugs. Some young people don't have a positive role model in their home. Perhaps their parent or parents are struggling with alcoholism. Or drugs addictions themselves. The public figures we can look up to are not always the best examples either. You could be a positive influence in the lives of adolescents and teenagers right here in Grand Rapids. One way you could support young people is to develop a network of speakers to go to schools and discuss the negative effects of drugs, alcohol, stealing, and other bad choices. The speakers could share their own stories about how they were influenced to make the wrong choices. They could talk about peers and teen peer pressure to make these choices and then be influenced in a negative way. People who are above the influence could develop a website that would provide a place for adolescents and adults to share how and why they have chosen to live above the influence. Young people can share their own experience and support one another. This could be an opportunity for those making poor choices to find the support they need to live above the influence. Adult, teens, and even kids are having a difficult time being influenced in negative ways. You and I can't make the right choices for them, but you can help change our minds. All I'm saying is if we work together, we could help everybody live above the influence. Thank you.
Great job, everyone. Can we have a round of applause for all our speakers?
At this time, we would like for all the teen volunteers to begin passing out the evaluation forms. All teen volunteers, please pass out the evaluation forms at this time. Thank you. As they're doing that, can we have another round of applause for our speakers, please? It's not easy to get up here and to speak in a crowded room, so we really wanted to thank you guys for participating.
We have just a couple of quick announcements. First, if we have any high school students who are a resident of Grand Rapids and would like to apply for the Mayor's Youth Council or in our LEAD Youth Employment Program, please go to our website at www.grchildren.us. That's grchildren.us. Or come see us during the resource fair, which is scheduled for today at 11:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. I really encourage you to check us out. Check out our table along with the other cool organizations that are doing some great things. But right now, I need for our listening panelists and audience members to please take about 3 minutes to fill out the survey that's being distributed. Listening panelists, your survey is in your folders. Your comments and suggestions will help us plan for next year. Youth in the audience, when you're finished filling out both sides of the survey and when you're dismissed, take it with you, and on the way out, there's a special gift just for you. Listening panel, you can simply leave your surveys on the table and we'll collect them.
While you're completing your surveys, I just wanted to say I really hope you guys enjoyed Kidspeak this year. For our listening panel and for the speakers, we have planned a special meet and greet opportunity for you. Our next speakers will tell you more about this, but it'll be a chance to shake some hands, give some advice, and offer more suggestions about what we need to see happen in our communities. But we hope to see you all at next year's Kidspeak on Friday, April 26th, 2013. That's Friday, April 26th, 2013 at City Hall, so save the date. On behalf of Erica and I, we thank you for your attention and for attending Kidspeak. Now please welcome Ms. Shannon L. Harris, Program Coordinator for our community's children.